What's up everyone, Tim here. Today we're going to talk about 16th note rhythms. This is really going to help your rhythm game and your understanding of music. So if you like theory, full song tutorials, and everything to do with modern guitar playing, be sure to subscribe now and hit that notification bell for great weekly content. So what is a 16th note? Well, since the vast majority of music is still played in 4/4 time today, let's base our discussion in that. And in 4/4 time, where the quarter note gets a beat, the 16th note gets a quarter of a beat. So let's cover some very rudimentary fundamentals here. Bear with me if you already know this. I'm going to go through it fast and we'll get to the good stuff. But there's some stuff that you really have to know that's going to fully explain what a 16th note is. In 4/4 time, and the math is really easy by the way, in 4/4 time, a whole note is our biggest value and that gets 4 beats. Its name is a whole note because it's all of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can divide that by 2 to get a half note. A half note is 2 beats because it's half of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we divide that by 2 and get a quarter note, 1 beat. And a quarter note, 1, 2, 3, 4. Quarter is 1 because it's a quarter of 4. 1 is a quarter of 4, right? Now we divide that in half and we get eighth notes. Eighth notes, it takes 8 of them to make 4. They're half a beat each. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And this is where we have to slow down and discuss something because this is where we can start understanding 16th notes. So an eighth note, we could use down up strumming. 1 and 2 and. We can also strum them all downs. 1 and 2 and. Now, if you look at what my hand's doing when I'm doing all downs, 1 and, well, I've got up strums in there, don't I? I'm going down and I'm coming back up, missing the strings, going down, back up, missing the strings. That's happening every beat. 1 and 2 and. What happens if we put those up strums back in? 1 and 2 and. Well, now we've perfectly divided the beat into 4 equal halves. 16th notes, right? If we divided an eighth note by 2, a half a beat now becomes a quarter of a beat. And that's a 16th note. 1, E, and, 2, E, and, Okay, and that's how you play them. Just down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So the first and the third are downs, and the second and the fourth are ups. And you can easily start practicing 16th notes just by holding a chord, any chord. I'm holding an E, but you can hold an A, D, any chord you want. A bar chord, doesn't matter. But just start strumming 16th notes and counting them. 1, E, and 2, E, and so on. Now, as you practice 16th notes, you have to be careful about something. Let's look at what our hand is doing. 1, E, and 2, E, and but that's the exact same thing that we were doing for eighth notes. 1 and 2 and. We can count them and play them the same. 1, E, and or 1 and 2 and. Same thing, right? So as you're practicing these, it's very important to be feeling 4 subdivisions to the beat and not 2. So practice to a metronome or tap your foot, but you'll want to be feeling that click every 4th strum. 1 E and 2 E and not 1 E and 2 E and. If you're playing and hearing those clicks or tapping, click, 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 then you're only feeling 2 subdivisions to the beat. And even though you might be counting 1 E and, you're still only really practicing eighth notes. So it's very important to be feeling 4 subdivisions, not 2. Once you have a really good handle on the 16th notes and you can count them accurately and strum them and you know that you're feeling 4 subdivisions to the beat, you can start having some fun and start mixing different subdivisions of the beat for some cool rhythms. For instance, we can take this rhythm where we're going to mix eighth notes with 16th notes. We can have an eighth note at the beginning of the beat followed by 2 16th notes at the second half of the beat. So half plus 2 quarters equals a full, and that happens every beat. Like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and Okay? Now watch what your hand is doing. You can count all of these out as straight 16ths. 1 E, so we're missing the strings on what would be the E. 1 E and 1 and 2 and 3 and so on. We could reverse that so that our 16ths are at the beginning, are the first half of the beat, followed by the 8th note on the second half of the beat. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Right? Again, 1 E and Now we'd be missing the strings for what would be the 1 E and So we're just letting that 8th note ring for the half of the beat. But our hand just keeps pumping away. So remember that rhythm is in your right hand. You really just want to be letting it do straight 16ths all the time. It's just going to keep doing that 1 E and 2 E and you're just going to be picking out what 16ths you're actually hitting. And that's where these rhythms come from. As long as your hand is doing this in time, you'll just get good at hitting certain 16th notes. Now, if you're with me this far, let's add in one more element, a tie. A tie takes the second note's value and adds it to the value of the first. So in this example, we're taking the last 16th in beat 1 and tying it to the first 16th in beat 2, and we're ending up with an 8th note value. Now we write it this way because if we wrote an 8th at that point in the measure, it would be very confusing. It would be hard to see where the beat is, and it would be hard to read it and accurately play it by sight. So we use ties to make it easier to read. But this is how this rhythm would sound. 1 and E and 3 and E and. Confusing? Yeah, it can be confusing just listening to the talk. So let's break this down. The first beat, we've already encountered it in one of the previous examples. 1 and Now this is where the new concept comes in, the tie. We just simply miss the strings on that downbeat of 2. 1 and miss the strings so that that second note rings for the duration of the first. 1 and 2 E and 1 and E and. So once again, even if this gets a little confusing, take a step back and just remember that your picking hand is always really going to be strumming in 16th rhythms. It's going to be pumping away as 1 E and 2 E and even if you're not hitting the strings every time. That's what's going to keep you in time though, by having your hand doing that. So we could count off all of our 16th notes and really see exactly where we're hitting the strings. 1 E and 2 E and Okay, now also a reminder that that metronome will be counting off those 4 equal subdivisions. So make sure you're feeling that click in the right spot. Click, 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 and so on. Keep it going for as long as you want. Play with the speeds. Don't just practice everything at one speed. Speed it up a bit. Click, 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 like that. And so I hope you found this short video extremely informative. And once you master the concepts in it, you're going to be in a great place to really understand any 16th note rhythm that you come across. To really get this knowledge to sink in, take all of the elements that we discussed in this video and put them together and start forming your own 16th note rhythms. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, share this with your friends, and I'm going to see you next time.